Welcome to the December meeting of the Commission on Aging. Thanks so much to everyone for being here. First off, a big welcome to our new first selectman, Monica McNally, who's so kind to join us today to talk about the town and her plans and things of that nature. We're going to move you to the top of our agenda as soon as we discuss our November minutes. So does anybody have any questions or changes to our November minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve them? Thanks so much. Second. Thank you, everybody. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks so much. Awesome. Monica, I believe, has to be up, is it Ridgefield at 10:30? So as a result, we have moved her ahead to the front of our agenda to talk about Darien. Congratulations on your victory. And talk to us about what your plans are relating to seniors and to the town itself.
Okay, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Could I just ask everyone to just go around? I don't know everybody.
Sure.
I know Jerry, I know Ray, Joe, nice to meet you.
Sharon Saltis, Telesco Services.
Okay.
Hi, Karen Cummins.
Nice to
Beth
meet you.
Bears, Senior Center. Hi,
Nice to see
I'm
you.
Monica.
Gina Blum with At Home in Darien.
Okay,
Allie Ramstead, Human Services.
nice.
Marsha Cleary. Mary McCarthy.
And Jerry Genovese. Jerry.
Jim Metzger.
Jim, nice to see you. All right. Nice to see you. Okay. So I am your newly elected first selectman, and I think hopefully everybody saw the state of the town on Monday. So I will just touch a few things on what we're thinking going forward. Right now, we are focusing on flooding at the Board of Selectmen level, and we recently approved a funding for 2 studies for Department of Public Works to work on, and that's 2 watershed areas that don't normally flood. So we are investigating what happened there and what we can do going forward. We also just funded, the RTM just agreed to fund $110,000 to help people who are applying for Fema grant assistance. And this is not for what you would apply for. You can go to the library right now until the 29th, and you can apply for a small business loan, either as a resident or a nonprofit or a renter or a homeowner. And that's more to help you get your home back up to speed to where it was. This money that we're funding for the grant process is to help people who have had significant flooding and are looking to either elevate their home or have FEMA help with purchasing their home. So those are 2 big flood mitigation projects that we're working on right now, and we're going to continue to focus on helping the community in that area. And our next kind of move on that will be to start working with individual residents to help figure out what they could be doing on their own property. So that's a new, that's kind of a big initiative for us right now. We're also looking at communication. I think that the town website could use an update, and so we are pursuing that. We're looking for putting money in the budget for next year for that. And we are looking currently right now for a community media manager. And that's somebody to help us get information out, and that could be your social media, that I know you guys are all on Twitter going crazy all the time, right? But there is a need in the community for information to be disseminated from the town, and so we're looking at how to improve that. As far as seniors go, this is a new area for me, although I did go to Atria last night, and just to say hi to everybody there. And what I would like to know is how this group interacts with the other senior facilities in town. And before I start throwing out ideas, that's really, I want to see how we're all working together in that area, because you're experts on that, I'm not. But please know that I was very close with my grandmother. This is a silly story, but I was so close with her that my mom actually worked for the school system, and I used to play cards with my grandmother. And one day, it's true, I did skip out of school a little early. And my mom, somebody called my mom and asked her where I was, and my mom called my grandmother, and I think it's because I forgot I'm on tape. Oh, well. I think it's because anyhow, we were playing rummy, and I think it's because my grandmother was winning, but she told my mom she didn't know where I was. So, but in all seriousness, I really want to work with this group. I'm really, this area is dear to my heart, so.
Yeah, well, one of our focuses, I think, going forward is going to be to continue to look at walkability and trying to ensure, because one of our major problems in town, as you're well aware, is the fact that due to people on their vehicles, texting, doing other things, it's really dangerous for our seniors in terms of trying to get from one place to another while they're walking. And so, to the extent, now we know a lot of these are state roads. For example, the Post Road is a state road, we get it. But at the end of the day, one of the questions is going to be, what can we do as a town? Now, we're very blessed, Jerry's son David, working on the major project over at Corbin, and that's going to be really wonderful because most of it is going to be encapsulated. You may have Corbin Drive between some of the various things, but nevertheless, that's the kind of thing which is wonderful where we're planning for some event, some activities that allow seniors to park and then be safe while they're walking. And so one of the things I think we need to focus on is, especially as our seniors, and we all continue to age into it, Connecticut's one of the oldest states in the nation, is going to be how do we make it safe for our seniors and quite frankly for all the other pedestrians out there. And so that's one of my issues. We're also coordinating very much with Allie in Human Services, okay, and she always gives us a report each month to find out what we can do relating to our seniors, whether it's involving, the things they do involving state aid for oil service, etc. We also work with Beth, especially with respect to the Mather Center and what's going on with the kind of programs that she offers, and again with Gina Bloom, who's working at Home in Darien. So at the end of the day, we're more focused publicly than privately, to be blunt. The reality is that at nursing homes and things of that nature, it's not as much of our role because those are more encapsulated within their own play. We're more interested, at least at this juncture, is keeping folks at home if we can, at Home in Darien, providing services in town, both in terms of human services and, of course, at the Mather Center. And one of our real challenges, and thank God for Beth to be blunt, is that during COVID, what do you do? In other words, you need video programs. You need other things to reach out to people in their homes and in facilities that they can gain access. Statewide, Peter Etter unfortunately injured himself last month, so he's not able to be here today. But he keeps us posted on state legislation and the AARP and what they're doing. And so one of the things the AARP was successful in getting done was to allow for video cameras in nursing care facilities. And that was something we worked on. So long story short is that we try to keep a more public focus as opposed to doing a private focus. That's not to say we couldn't do a private focus, but I need to know more. In other words, it would have to be some sort of public-private partnership where we weren't just dealing, because it would be weird if we just dealt with Atria or we just dealt with X or Y or Z, because then it might look like we were favoring them, and we have to be very careful about that. But on a public basis, I think that's where our focus are. And I'm glad to open it up to others who think, say what other things we do.
Well, I think if you just, as Joe mentioned, just look at the agenda every month and who participates. And we have regular people from other areas come in and talk to us. We've had state legislators in here. We've had congressmen in here. And we also connect a lot with Terry Wood and people like that, just as much as anything to make sure she's aware of the issues that are out. And it's interesting, I'm also on the board of At Home in Darien with Gina, and we just had our annual meeting, and William Tong was the speaker. And a lot of people don't realize one of his big initiatives has been the senior hotline. And basically it's for anti-fraud, it's for scamming, it's for robocalls, it's for health issues, it's for all of those things. And so it seemed like that was kind of unlikely source, but at the end of the day, we try to stay very much connected with that group also in those ideas and those issues.
Okay, it's good to hear.
But I think public is what's really important, what Joe's saying.
Well, to your public, actually somebody at Atria mentioned walking and walkability and safety, and you might have seen, we are in town, we have rolled out a Think Smart Before You Start, a campaign to encourage people to be less distracted while they're driving. And I am going to a meeting, and one of the things that I noticed for the meeting that we're going to be discussing is the rise in pedestrian accidents and fatalities in Connecticut over the last 5 years. That trend is actually going up, whereas fatalities and accidents with cars is going down. So I think the safety factor is very big, and I applaud David's project. I think that helps it. I think that the awareness campaign in town will help, but I'm getting the feeling that you want a little bit bigger of a.
Yeah, it would be really great to figure out how we can work as a town and the state, especially as well, with things, for example, I'm thinking of the Post Road around the what used to be the movie theater and that kind of area, where if there was a more obvious crosswalk, it's just a matter of time. Hollow Tree Ridge Road, I mean, you pick the busier streets and where people are potentially walking, and you can think about up near the First Congregational Church, and whether there's any way of trying to figure out a way with the state to make crosswalks so much more obvious than they already are. Obviously, they're just state legislation which now says if someone is standing waiting to cross the crosswalk and they take a step, believe it or not, it doesn't matter if it's green, you've got to stop, okay? So we need to publicize those kinds of things to make sure people understand that, yes, the person technically shouldn't be in the crosswalk against a green, but guess what? They still have the right of way. And because people are texting, it is that much more difficult because they're so distracted and they're not doing it. So this will eventually be solved in about 20 to 25 years with the Apple Car and other things where you're going to be sitting in your backseat playing on your device while the car drives. But for the next 20 years, it's going to continue to be a big problem.
Okay, so as far as crosswalks go, I believe that David is putting a new crosswalk over in that project, okay, so that does need it.
Yep.
The crosswalks have not been painted this year. You've all heard about the supply chain problem. Well, it's a reality as far as paint goes. The Department of Public Works just wasn't able to access it, and we need the asphalt to be above 50 degrees now to paint the lines. So as soon as that happens in the spring, the crosswalks will be addressed. And you know, I think publicizing this new rule on people entering, even if you have a cane and your cane is in the line, cars need to stop. And that, I think, is, we need to work on the messaging there because that's relatively new for Connecticut, and I don't think people really fully grasp that. But I do think that once that is really promoted, that piece of information, that people will participate in the correct way. So I thank you all for your time, and I would love to come back. I really apologize that I have a meeting in Ridgefield that I really have to leave for because I can't be late.
Yep.
But I really appreciate your time, and I would, like I said, I would love to come back.
Absolutely. We will definitely invite you again sometime in 2022, and we'll have a continued discussion.
Yes, but thank you, and if you have if after I leave and you discuss other things that you think you want the town hall to be considering, please shoot me an email. We will pursue whatever we can, okay?
Awesome. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Monica.
Thank you.
Very appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you.
Thanks,
I hope,
Monica.
Nice seeing
Nice
you
to
that I
meet you.
know,
Absolutely.
and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Awesome. Great. Well, I'm going to postpone that consideration. To be blunt, I'd love to have her back. Okay, so give some thought to what other things we can do, and we'll talk about that potentially at our January or February meetings, and then maybe have her come back in March or April, because I do want to make sure that we have a good agenda to talk with her about, as to what items we'd like to have. So I will move on our agenda to our Mather Center report. Beth?
Hello, everybody. Because we are back to masking as of December 1st, we are doing that, of course, at the senior center, and we had continued to social distance, so that was a good thing. What I can say is that we are increasing activities and programs and services, but we're doing it within the protocol of masking and distancing. So for instance, today we're having a program at 10:30 that Jerry's gonna help me with. We have 35 people coming for the Circle Light for the presentation, and then we have over 100 people coming for lunch, drive-through. So we're just balancing it out. It's a little bit more imagination and creativity to do it this way, but we're trying to make sure that this year looks really different than last year. We also had the Middlesex Middle School and the Youth Commission. We partnered with them again, and wonderful Nielsen's Florist gave us 50 wreaths. The kids decorated them. We did that last Friday, so anyone that came through the drive-through lunch last Friday got a beautiful decorated wreath and a lovely note from the young people. So that was really, really special. And we are, for the winter, increasing our Zooms. We're bringing most of our programs back in center because that's what people wanted. However, there have been several breakthrough cases. I have to tell you that the seniors in this town have been absolutely wonderful, and our non-resident participants too. If they've been exposed, they call immediately, let us know. They tell us they're gonna get tested. If they're positive, then they're Darien, we report it to David, but if they're positive in other towns, we're reporting to their senior centers. So their senior centers take care of their public health departments. So it has happened. There's people that are boosted also that have gotten it mild, but they've been sick. So we just want to make sure that people still get that message that please still mask it, especially if you're in areas indoor where you're with a lot of people that you don't know and you don't know where they came from either. So, and that's the holidays. So we're respecting that greatly. We are also looking at this point, the state health department, our regional health departments, realized, actually through the region in Trumbull, who's the gentleman that works on our vaccine clinics here, Nick, that we're meeting with all the senior center directors now in this area because the messaging during the beginning of the pandemic crisis, a lot of the public health departments did not know all the work the senior centers were doing. They weren't aware. They weren't aware what a focal point of activity that they were, and also many of the food programs were disseminated from senior centers, so they themselves reached out. So that has made a partnership that we're gonna meet quarterly with the public health departments in our area. So it's another meeting, but it's gonna be a good thing, because based on the fact that we could end up in this situation again, and the other things that we wanna talk about is better communication, that maybe our health departments come in and present other kinds of programs. There's other vaccines beside the vaccine for COVID, other ways to keep our community healthy, that the public health departments really need to be the main messengers. I know that the pandemic was a little difficult and it tended to get a little political in the messaging. We'd like to see the professionals be the ones that are doing the messaging, knock on wood if this happens again, or again, for preventative programs. The statewide senior center working group is meeting. We're probably gonna be meeting monthly. That's the group that I've been appointed to. I just wanted to make mention that At Home Darien did have William Tong there. Several months ago, I mentioned the hotline, and I told you when it was put out there, and a little bit, I think you guys didn't understand it, so it was wonderful that Gina had him as a speaker to see how comprehensive it is. We have been advertising it in our Constant Contact and also in our newsletter monthly, because it's really important that there be the advocacy that he has presented. It was a very, very well thought out, and we don't realize it, except if you went to their presentation, how absolutely this is throughout the entire state. And victims very often are senior people that are 80 and up, who really don't have even other support. So I'm glad that that was their featured speaker. So moving forward, we are gonna keep that lunch outside for a period of time, or I'm hoping, we'll see what happens in March. People are liking the drive-through lunch, and we are still doing the drive-through lunch only for Darien residents, basically because the demand is so heavy, and our chef can only do so much, and I'm down 3 part-time staff members right now. So we gotta get ourselves that we're a little bit more balanced and move it back in again. But we are making plans to do it, we're figuring out how we're gonna do it. It's gonna be very different than what we did before. But I just wanna encourage everyone, the January newsletter is out this Friday, so if anybody's watching, if you look at it online, or you can come and pick it up from us next week. We're doing the same thing with signups. Darien residents are gonna start on Tuesday, December 21st. And non-residents are gonna start Tuesday, December 28th to do the signups. And most people have gotten very accustomed to the fact that there's some limitations in terms of space. So people are acclimated to something that they didn't originally want to do, but it's working out really well now. We're also getting a fair amount of new participation. So there's people that are realizing that we are open. So we started to do a soft use group, so that we were informal before, as you know. There were many people that would come and spend the day in the center, and we were still doing the time limits. But we're letting little small groups come in to play mahjong together, or to just a visit, or play a game of Scrabble, or just sit by the fireplace and socially distance there, because the center's decorated so nice. And we had great success. It's gonna be in our newsletter, so you'll see some of the pictures with COVID Santa. We set up an area that people could take pictures with a 6-foot Santa Claus that we have in there. And some of the seniors were it was priceless. The humor that compacted, some of the pictures we can't show you.
Cute.
Because we were surprised at some of the poses that people got into. But it was a tremendous amount of fun. So they're all gonna get, Joe got it, they're all gonna get a 4x6 picture, but they also can get the print, so they can print more for their families, and that was the idea, that they were gonna be able to show their families. So we had holiday masks for everyone, and it was just a beautiful area, and a lot of participation. So it was something extra fun that we did this year. So that's what we're trying to do moving forward. And then in terms of computer, just to let you know, because Sharon and I were talking about that a little, we are looking for computer teachers at this particular point in time. So if somebody out there even wants to volunteer time, because we want to have specific classes, because there are folks that are just afraid and don't realize that this is all doable. So we want to have classes that people, first of all, understand that they don't have to be afraid of it, and then know how to use Zoom, and if they don't have devices, to explain what kind of devices would be the best for them to use. So we have to do it, so from that standpoint. So, and our Zoom participation has gone up as well too, so here we are. Pretty soon we'll probably be doing live streaming and in streaming, but we're not there yet, but we're looking at that as well, so.
Awesome. Thank you, Beth. Any questions for Beth? Jerry?
Yeah, Beth, I was wondering, the computer, is it possible that like the young people, like the Middlesex or high school kids could come in and
Right now
in the
with
fall-
COVID,
in
no.
the summer?
We'll see what the summer brings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing right now is the COVID is preventing us to doing that with young people,
Okay.
because, that it is, the issue is what the issue
Okay.
is. But eventually, yes, eventually we'd like to, we know that we, especially at the high school level, that we have a lot of young people that would like to come in and volunteer and do that, and we'd like to be able to accommodate that, but we just have to wait till we get over this period of time.
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
A brilliant point, Jerry, because not only do you have the tech kids who want to do it, but it boosters their college applications to say something of that nature. So there's definitely some really great free labor out there that's waiting to be tapped. So once we do get past COVID, that's fantastic.
Yeah, because one of my granddaughters had asked me that she wanted to come in and, volunteer. So I'll tell her she just has to wait till this COVID crisis, it's
Till the
over.
spike is over. The thing is, contact us in the summer when they're off, that's the time to do it.
Yeah,
The other thing is that that's a nice synergy, just because it's nice to learn from someone younger.
Yeah.
It's easier, they make you less nervous about it, and there's just an unbelievable ease of communication between those groups, so Yeah, that's one of the things we really miss is all the intergenerational programming we have been doing throughout the year, so can't wait to get that back.
Okay, good, I'll tell her.
Okay.
Other questions for Beth? Hearing none, thank you, Beth, appreciate it. Moving on to Human Services Report, Ally.
Morning. It looks like the North Pole in our office, because we have about 50 families that were adopted and 50, just slightly under 50 seniors. And some of you in this room, thank you, donated. So most of the seniors can come in and get them for us, but then there's about 10 that we'll deliver to their door if they're homebound or just not out and about as much. So it's fun. And the seniors, it's not just low-income seniors, we also do seniors that, are just lonely or going through a hard time and challenged, so it's fun. It's a good time in our office. We're continuing with our energy assistance applications, and as I had mentioned, they waived the asset limit, so we've actually had a few of our seniors who were not eligible before, say they have IRAs or whatever, that are able to apply this year, so that was nice. So it's just a little bonus. It's only temporary because of COVID that they waived the asset limits. So that's nice for a few of those extra seniors that were able to do that. Since the eviction moratorium ended, we've had 3 evictions, and now we have 1 going underway this week too, so that'll be 4. We anticipate that there'll be more. The courts are apparently backed up, because, there's a backlog. But according to the marshals, because they notify us, the Human Services Department, when an eviction is about to happen, and then we reach out to the resident. But he said they're very busy, so we don't know what to expect. But some of them have been foreclosures, that have been going for a long time, or that the other ones were people who were renting who didn't pay their rent.
So what is the role, like, are you trying to help them get resettled, or?
Well, there's only so much, we don't have really resources to resettle them, but the town is responsible for, we ask them to get their belongings out. It's a Connecticut statute, so we have a form letter that we have to send to the people, letting them know that the marshal's gonna be coming on this date. And then the town is technically responsible to store their stuff for 15 days. And after the 15 days, it goes to a public auction if they don't claim their belongings. So we're just reaching out, trying to get them, so it doesn't come to that, trying to get them prepared. And resources, certainly we will refer them to resources and stuff, but we don't have emergency housing or anything.
Right.
No, none of the towns do. So usually people find family or friends that they can go live with.
Right.
So that's going on. And then again, it's that time of year, before you know it, we're gonna be making calls on our emergency call list with storms coming, so feel free, or if there's a neighbor or a friend or family member that wants to call us and get their relative or loved one on, please do. The seniors find it very comforting. We have about 100 people on the list, so we divide and conquer in our office the list, and then if there are power outages or storm, we'll give updates on outreach. It's just, the seniors really like it. And some of them just like to chat, so. And that's about it.
Thank you, Ally. Any questions for Ally?
Do you have
All right.
shoveling going on this winter?
Shoveling?
See, it's for seniors.
I'm gonna.
We
Oh,
do
that's
throughout
it.
Mr. Darien. We work with the high school and shovel public sidewalks for seniors.
I just, I wasn't sure who to contact, you or Ally.
Other questions for Ally? Hearing none, I'm going to turn it over to Gina, since she was going already about the thank you so much for what you're doing for our seniors and others with the shoveling. Great question, Mary.
Yeah, so if
And-
anybody's interested in that
Yep.
service, we're happy to help public sidewalks. Give us our office a call. And thanks to Jim and Beth for both mentioning annual meeting that we had last Friday, the 10th. Our special guest speaker was Attorney General William Tom. It was a fabulous informational session that he provided, and if you missed it, especially those people on TV 79, you can watch it from our website, so I encourage you to do that. It was just so helpful. I also want to share that we recently did a podcast with Now We're Talking Darien, just about our organization, and we're going to try to send out some information so that people who maybe aren't familiar with podcasts can listen to it, but podcasts are such a great resource for people, so much great information there, and perhaps maybe we'll have help and be able to help people, but but maybe the computer people who are helping at the senior center can teach people how to download those podcasts too. The other thing I wanted to announce, which I'm so excited about, was through the generosity of the Darien Foundation, At Home in Darien has a new handicap accessible vehicle.
Nice.
It is amazing. It's it's state of the art. It's a Toyota hybrid, Toyota Sienna hybrid vehicle, so it's fuel efficient, it's attractive, it's gonna let people ride with dignity. But what we're so excited about is this side entry ramp that extends from the vehicle. It allows wheelchairs to be, well, actually the vehicle kneels, which means it comes down to a lower level to decrease the incline on the ramp, making it fantastic for wheelchairs to roll in, but what's really great is it's allowing people who use walkers or other mobility aids to use this ramp to get to their seat. So typically we used to have them have to step up into the vehicle, we would take their walker or their cane, but this allows them to get right to their seat with it, and then we can take the mobility device away. And so much easier for people who have issues with,
Sure.
their ability. So we're so delighted and thank the Darien Foundation, but we have it out on the road now, so if anybody, seniors or people with any disability, can give us a call to access that.
Awesome. That's such great news and such a great thing that the Darien Foundation did, recognizing the need and addressing it. It's just wonderful.
Absolutely. They were thrilled to do something for our seniors in town. It's important, and they purposefully made that decision, to allocate some funds towards that community need.
Really cool stuff. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Gina? Hearing none. Other old business. One piece of sad old and new business is that we do have to be aware of the fact that apparently the new latest variant, Omicron, is so infectious. It's effectively like measles. So it's the original variant, as I understand it, was about a 1 to 2, okay, on their ranking scale. Delta went to 5. Omicron's 20, okay, 4 times more infectious than Delta. Cornell is just shut down. So our meetings, January, is hugely questionable at this point as to whether we're going to be here or on video. I will do everything we can to keep us spread out and here. I much prefer being in person than doing it in video, but we'll obviously honor town hall mandates, so keep an eye on that as to whether we will be via video or here in room 119, and we shall see going forward as this plays out. The only good news so far is it appears to be less dangerous than Delta. That is, what they're seeing is it's more like a common cold. One person did die in Great Britain, so it's not like it can't kill you. But at the end of the day, it did not appear to be as medically difficult as some of the earlier variants. So we'll just have to watch it and see. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we'll be able to meet here in January. If not, we will see everybody on video. Any other, Mary?
Is it possible to do a hybrid?
If we do it, it's very difficult, as you can imagine, us spread out among everybody. And also there are rules relating to video, which you have to post it and make sure the public has access to it, etc. So we will not be doing that. It's going to be either here or it's going to be on video, one or the other, because the challenge is technologically of me watching the video. Is anybody raising their hand on the video while watching all of you not doing it? I mean, I'm going to go one or the other. It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Other new business? Hearing none. I will first, before I ask for the motion to adjourn, to wish everyone a wonderful holiday season, Super Christmas, Happy New Year, and incredibly, we're going to be in 2022 when we next meet, either via video or here. And so now I'll ask, can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Second, thank you. All in favor? Thanks, everybody. I will see you in January one way or another.